Hey everybody, welcome back to Suck Less Saturday. I am Neil. I've got a treat here. I want to talk to you a little bit about what we can do to suck less by next week.
You need a shot timer because that which gets measured gets worked on. The Range Tech Timer is the official timer of Active Self-Protection because it is versatile, reliable, feature-rich, and very economical. Check out all it can do at the link below.
Hey, I've got Mac from She Equips Herself. If you saw last week, we had Stav on here, and they came out here and took our class. This is our 2-day evidence-based pistol skills class, where we spent a couple of days working on some of the important skills that you might need on your worst day. And so we had a massive score from you. Of all of the people that have ever taken the 10-round skill check, probably the second highest I've ever seen. So well done, first off, with the 96 points. Any of you guys can look this up and go try it, and if you can score a 96 or better, yeah, you can tell this guy he's full of it. I wouldn't recommend it. Woo! There's a lot of America going on right in the next bay, so if you can't hear us,
victory over
that's why we're doing stuff. So hey, thanks for coming in here and talking with me a little bit, and again for coming to the class. But for our Suck Less stuff, what I'd like to talk about a little bit is kind of what have you taken from the class, and what can you take home, and what can you share with people to work on to suck less?
Well, I mean, the basic of the class is to it's evidence-based, and they're looking at all these videos, and if you watch this channel, which you should be watching on a regular basis, it's just, you get a tremendous amount of knowledge. But coming out of that holster and getting a hit on target quick like that. So where's that come from? For me, my biggest takeaway of where I started and where I am right now is there was a tremendous amount of extra movement on my body. Like there was a big move here, there was a big lean, there was a big shoulder push, my head was all forward. There was a lot going on from day one till now, where I'm just kind of, and the other thing I was doing is I was bringing the firearm about 90% of the way to my eye, and then I was bringing my eye about 10-15% down to the gun. And when we kind of cleaned all that up, it took my score from a 70 to a 96, or 70 something to a 96. Yep. And it was those little things, Neil would come over and hold me by the back of the head just like this, and he'd say, stand up straight and get your head up straight. And I'm like, all right, I'm working on it. My body didn't want to do that. It wanted to go back to where it was every other time. But if you can kind of get rid of all that extra stuff, you can shave off seconds, not seconds, but microseconds real quick. So I took a lot of that out of the way, just reducing all that extra stuff and bringing that gun all the way up to where my eyes already were. I'm already looking at the target or the threat. Bring the gun right to there. Don't bring it up 90% and then go find it. And that to me, that was the biggest takeaway. That was the biggest thing that took me from that 70 into that 96 right there, is those skills. And I was happy to learn them.
Woo! America. All that extra frenetic motion that we see in folks is really something. I mean, that's where the biggest improvement, that's the low-hanging fruit for most folks. One of the things that was really fun watching you do is you got it, and then we were talking during the breaks, and you're like, yeah, I'm figuring out my head, and then I forget my shoulders, and then I figure out my shoulders, and I forget my feet, and all of that kind of stuff, and it's a process, right? So you don't get it in just 2 seconds, and if you go home and don't work on it and focus on it, it'll probably go away there. So for this week, as we give people our dry fire stuff, in our lesson and our challenges that we're doing, what do you think people should work on in their dry fire? What would you recommend?
Well, I mean, just what I said from my perspective, I would immediately watch people. I wasn't watching for that too much. I'm normally I'm a huge trigger finger guy. I'm a huge clear in that, get the clothing completely out of the way. Don't just half out of the way, but get the clothing completely. And I spend a lot of time trying to make sure people have a clean draw and getting a shot off. And I'm not really looking for a lot of their posture. I'm not, I hope they hit their target, but I'm looking for this ultra clean, smooth draw. And then I'm just, as a coach, I'm not paying attention to all those other things, all the things you were fixing on me. I don't look for those things. Now, as a coach, I'm going to be looking for those on top of the things that I've been doing. So, coming out clean, coming out smooth, and just driving that gun out there and driving it out there so that you end where a coach would put you. If you just put me there and said, now shoot from here. Now I want to get everything done, and I want to be where you would stick me at the end. Now it's easier said than done. When that timer goes off, all sorts of things happen. But I want to be where you position my body. If we had a minute to put me in that position, I want to shoot from there, but I want to be able to do that in 1 second.
Okay.
And that's, so work on those things. And also, go slow. because I was,
The
I
five
was saying, I
Chicagoers.
can't do that in this, in that, in this. Although I can't fix all my problems all at once. So it took me like a full day
Yeah.
to iron out. Like I ironed out one wrinkle at a time.
Yeah, all that 5 Chicago stuff, and folks that really engage when we're doing the 5 Chicago during our walk down drill. Some of you have seen that before on the channel. The folks that really engage there see the payoff at the end. The folks that don't engage there don't see as much payoff. And so here's the assignment for this week. So videotape yourself and your draw, and look for all of that extra movement, your shoulders, your head, your feet. Are you one of these folks that step and draw at the same time? Are you one that step back and draw at the same time? Are you ducking your head? Do you turn your head? Figure out what all of your extra movement is and reduce that. And work on it over time with a 5-second draw to get all of that out of there, and then bring it down to 4, and then bring it down to 3, and then bring it down to 2, and then bring it down to 1. And all of a sudden, when you're drawn at 1 second and all that's gone, it's efficient and fast and quick, and your shots are on target. This was me goofing around. That's not Bob's. This is Bob's target. I don't know who did that. That might be Korea. Let's blame that on John Korea. But, hey, Mac, thanks for coming to the class. Thanks for doing the video with me, man. It's been a blast getting to meet you guys. I want to hang out with you guys more. I hope we get to do this again. So you guys get your work done and suck less by next week.